Dupree family just got rocked to its core. From Anita's heartbreaking cancer confession to Vernon, to Smitty dropping a family bombshell that no one saw coming, and Hayley weighing a dangerous new path to power. This is the most emotional week in Beyond the Gates history. Let's get into it. So we start off at the hospital where Anita learns that her cancer is triple negative. It's an aggressive form of breast cancer. It's harder to treat than many other types. Why did they have to give her triple negative breast cancer? Something that's harder to treat. Good grief. You know what I'm saying? Now we got to go down this path. I'm telling y'all right now, I do not like this storyline. It hits too close to home, and that's why I don't like it. But one detail I did like was the fact that Dr. An suggested that Anita record the conversation on her phone since she was there in the office alone, because this is a lot to take in. It's too much. As the doctor was talking, it was like, I hear you, but the last thing I heard from you was that it was triple negative and it's hard to treat, and I don't hear nothing else beyond that. Now my mind is racing. How long do I have? How I'm gonna tell the family? You know what I'm saying? It's just too much. And then they gonna do it right around the holidays, no less. But anyway, with her recording it, she can replay it later, process everything, maybe even play it for the family. So, anyway, this is a journey that we all got to go on with Anita, guys. And it's just a PSA that, ladies, please, please, please go get your mammograms. Because the sooner they find something, the sooner that they could treat it. And you could be a thriver, survivor if necessary. So Dr. An gently nudges Anita to tell Vernon. And because she's going to need a partner, not just a husband in this fight, But of course, Anita is terrified of breaking his heart. So after the appointment, Anita does what a lot of people would do. She goes to Uptown for a drink and a moment to breathe. Eventually, she's joined by Tracy and Sharon, and she lets them know what was going on. So they listen, and they promise to be there with her every step of the way. When Anita finally goes back to the mansion, she takes Vernon's hand, sits him down, and you can feel she is about to drop the heaviest news of their marriage. So let's switch gears from heartbreak to Christmas chaos. The Dupree way, okay? Over in the Dupree world, Christmas is not a season, it is a full contact sport. Danny, with Andre's help, is putting up what she is sure will be a better tree than Martin and Smitty's. And if you keeping score at home, Team Danny and Andre equals our tree is art. And Team Martin and Smitty's tree, our tree is dominance. June arrives at Martin and Smitty, and she brings ornaments for the kids that they made years ago. It's sentimental, it's sweet, and it instantly grounds the family. Then Kat comes in, who shows up and pretty much ignores Eva, which is so on brand for a holiday where the tree isn't the only thing getting lit. But you know what? On a side note, that's how she should be treating Eva anyway. Instead of coming into the room or wherever and constantly attacking Eva, which means then Eva has to attack back, and it's constant bickering. If you don't like somebody, ignore them. We all understand why you don't like her. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't got to hear it and see it every single time they get together. Oh, that was a sigh of relief for me when she came in there and just totally ignored her. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. But then the real shock came when Regina, June's sister, showed up. And it was a surprise that Smitty had orchestrated. So, of course, June was surprised to see her. They hug and everything. And then the kids finally get to meet her again because she was somewhat taking care of them when they were little, when June was doing her thing out in the street. And it was a good emotional moment when the kids, she got to see them and hug them and all of that good stuff. Meanwhile, over at Danny's, it's turned into a full-on singles night. Nicole shows up solo because, of course, Carlton is hanging out with his family. Jacob is nowhere to be seen because Naomi comes in the door. I'm not speaking to Jacob. I'm mad. Okay, why are you mad at Jacob now, Naomi? Okay. Jacob does eventually show up with a surprise gift for Naomi in the shape of a monkey. Like a monkey hat that squirts water, and they called it a chinguita or something to that effect. So it turns out Naomi was just mad at him because she thought that was the gift that he was bringing to her, and that she thought that it was ugly, and why would he do that? And he doesn't know me at all. Hey, girl, bad. And then turns out that the monkey was just a symbol because he got her a trip to Mexico. So at the end of the day, Jacob really was listening to his wife because she was talking about how she always wanted to go to Mexico and all of that. And that's what he did. Okay, so all is right with the world with the two of them for so far, I should say. And then later on, Kat shows up just in time to put the star on top of the tree. Merry Christmas. Then, over in the land of terrible decisions, Leslie presents Ted with her so-called proof that Vernon is cheating. So, of course, Ted starts off as being skeptical, like, girl, please, okay? And then she was like, no, for real. And he was like, well, how do you have proof? And she lets him know how she opened up Eva's hotel room door and she saw Vernon and Sharon together coming out of his room. So that don't mean nothing. Yeah, but then he said, we can't let nobody know, and especially my wife. Okay, whatever. He could just be planning some Christmas surprise for her. Still don't make a difference. Yeah, but then when I confronted him about it later, he didn't deny it. Okay. So with all that being said, and from the person that's delivering this message, he gonna sit up there and believe her. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then why do they have him going telling Nicole anything that Dana / Leslie said to him about her parents? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, y'all, bad writing, BTG. So, of course, he tells Nicole that Vernon may be having an affair. And, of course, she's like, man, please, you coming over here with this garbage. And he kept saying, yeah, well, this person said that they saw him, they talked to him, yada, yada, yada. And she like, who is this person? Well, that doesn't matter, because at first he didn't want to say. And then he bust out and say, it was Dana. Get out of my house. You know what I'm saying? Get out of my house. Get out of my face. How are you believing anything this woman tells you? You know what I'm saying? Because like Nicole say, she'll say whatever because she know that you gonna come running to me trying to protect me. Okay? Like, dummy. But at the end of the day, it did put something on Nicole's mind. So on Tuesday, we open up with Bill sipping a poisoned cocktail, courtesy of his wife Hayley, who slipped in a few drops before handing him the cocktail. And then she starts talking about opening up their Christmas gifts in St. Bart's in their new home. Well, Bill shut that down real quick, letting her know that the homeowners were that had backed out, I should say, of the deal. Of course, Hayley was not too thrilled about that. She was like, what? Oh, come on. Let's offer them more money. And he was like, no, because apparently they want to leave it for the next generation or something. So, of course, she goes into, I wanted us to start our own traditions. I'm still feeling like an outcast, yada, yada, yada. Then he goes into telling her, well, you knew what the deal was when you pursued your best friend's father. And she like, what? I pursued you? You was the one pursuing me. Then she gets mad and leaves and says, well, before she leaves, she busts out and say, yeah, I'm going to show you what it's like to miss me. So she heads over to the club where she runs into old Joey, where he tells her that it would be a good thing if Bill runs for office, get elected, and he'll be powerful and she will be powerful, because behind every good politician is a good wife, right? So instead of literally unaliving Bill, she could turn him into a political vehicle and position herself as the power behind the throne. Meanwhile, Bill texts her saying he wasn't feeling well. And just before she parts, Joey says, see you later, First Lady. And she was like, I prefer Queen. Okay, so what do y'all think? Y'all think that she gonna still try to get rid of Bill, or is she gonna pivot and try to get into the politics? Although she is initially like, no way. So we'll see how they write this storyline going forward. Anyway, she gets back home and Bill brings out this old picture that he drew, a Christmas star, and told her the story about his mom and all this other stuff, and he didn't have a good relationship with his dad, and Danny don't know everything. She know a lot, but she don't know everything about his upbringing. And of course, you're all that I want, Hayley. I don't want anybody else. It's me and you. Then she wants to believe him, but still has doubts, because we all know there's poison involved. Joey's planting political seeds, and Hayley is balancing love, ambition, and survival. Meanwhile, Nicole couldn't wait to get over to Danny's and tell her about the rumor about their daddy cheating on their mama. And of course, Danny was like, are you crazy? Where you get some ludicrous story like that from? She admits she got it from Ted, who got it from Leslie. And it's like, girl, bad. My daddy ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? And then they started comparing notes. Well, I don't know, because Nicole say when me and Mama got together, she was acting a little strange. And then Danny admits that the last time she saw Vernon, he was trying to get rid of her because he was acting suspicious. And then she remembered when Anita says to her, if anything happens to me, make sure you take care of your father. And Nicole was like, why? Because she think that he cheating and she gonna leave him? And they spiraling out of control. They, of course, are calling Vernon, and he's not answering the phone. And so now their antennas are up. Okay? Again, it was just dumb for them to write this story like this, especially all that's going on with Anita right now. We didn't need the two of them thinking that Vernon is having an affair. Like, come on. Okay? Now, over at the country club, we got Vanessa, Joey, and Donnell. So, Vanessa and Joey are there. She asks him to play the Santa at the hospital's Christmas party. He's a little taken aback, but it shows how close they've grown. Donnell shows up. Joey politely exits, giving mother and son space. Donnell tells Vanessa that he's trying to support his sister as best he can since their father passed, and that he's been reflecting on the past and their family. So apparently Deandra, who they have not casted yet, is having a hard time with Doug's passing, and she just can't seem to get over it. It's been a few months now and she's still tripping, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, he says that she is getting better because she's hanging out with her sorority sisters and doing some things. So anyway, at the end of their conversation, he lets Vanessa know that he is ready for her to move on and have somebody lighten up her face like it used to be, back in the day. She still didn't really tell him about Joey, but she did let him know that at some point her and Doug's marriage turned into them just basically being friends. Later, Ted runs into Shanice at Orphe Jeans. They share a peach cobbler. She finds out he has no plans for Christmas, and she invites him to join her family. Andre shows up, and he has a Christmas gift for his Uncle Ted. They start reminiscing about Ted's brother, which is Andre's father, how much he hated football, but they had a tradition of watching football together every Sunday. So Andre gifts Ted 2 tickets to the next football game, and they decide that they would keep up the Richardson family tradition and go to football games. So finally, we circle back to Anita and Vernon, where she finally tells him the truth. She sits him down and says, "Vernon, my love, I've been diagnosed with cancer." She walks him through everything that's happened in the past few days, the tests, the diagnosis, the fear. Then Vernon realizes that she's been carrying all of this alone, and that Sharon and Tracy already knew. And then Anita explains, well, Sharon and Tracy are like my sisters. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you just need your sisters. But Vernon's hurt is real because he asks why she shut him out of the most important battle of her life. And her answer is heartbreaking and honest. She says, "I'm sorry, Vernon, but I don't know how to do cancer." Oh, she's not rejecting him. She's just overwhelmed. Vernon apologizes that she went through the scariest days alone. And he admits, I am terrified at the thought of losing you. Oh, gatekeepers. Then he pivots into full Dupree warrior mode and he says, this is not your battle to fight alone, it's ours. And cancer picked the wrong damn family to mess with. You got that right, Vernon. Anyway, he wants to tell the kids, but of course, Anita is like, nope. We are not telling the kids. As a matter of fact, this is going to be the best Christmas ever. Okay? I want everybody here. I want joy. I want happiness. I want all of that. And then later on, Vernon is picking up and looking at a picture of him. And then he just says, oh, Anita. You know what I'm saying? And she's in the background looking at him. And it's just so heart-wrenching. Oh, I don't like this storyline. I don't. Anyway, gatekeepers, that's a wrap on the last couple of days. December 22nd and December 23rd of Beyond the Gates. So gatekeepers, now I want to hear from you. Do you think Hayley will go full political queen and push Bill into a governor's race or some political race? And which scene hit you harder? Anita's confession to Vernon or Anita finding him crying alone? If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a recap of Beyond the Gates. Until next time, gatekeepers, protect your peace and cherish your